Welcome to the Weekly Roar, coming live from the Lion's Den, helping new managers become great leaders and awesome bosses. And now, here's your host, Greg Storch.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining me today. Welcome to the Weekly Roar. I'm Greg Storch, owner of Lion Enterprise, host of the Weekly Roar, and the founder of a worldwide bartered coaching program called The Helping Hand. I'm a certified professional leadership coach and a certified leadership speaker and trainer. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection and asking myself the question, how am I growing as a leader? The number one attribute of successful leaders is that they continue to learn. And so this week, I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance for leaders to continue to grow in order to maximize their impact and influence. So let's jump into this and talk about successful leaders are learners. In the many decades that I've spent in leadership, there's one thing I can tell you for sure, and that is successful leaders never stop learning. Whether it's simply reading books, learning a new skill, or learning from those we surround ourselves with, successful leaders all share a passion for wanting to learn new skills and ideas. How do you think they got to where they're already at? Well, I think it's because really good leaders understand the importance of learning skills and knowledge along the way. Good leaders know that life is just one big learning experience. Hey, leaders are in the business of change. So understanding how people change and grow is a key skill. Now, one of the ways that leaders can develop that skill is to learn how to learn. I have to warn you, though, there's a trap when it comes to assumptions and learning. Sometimes learning can be a little automated and we can fall into the trap believing that everyone knows how to do it. The reality is that most people fail to consider what is involved in being a lifelong learner and how to actually do it. So today, I want to touch on some of the reasons why leaders should understand that it's important that we begin, you guessed it, with ourselves. Once we understand the process of learning and how to approach it, we can increase not only our self-awareness, but also our effectiveness as leaders. I feel like part of being a good leader is becoming a consistent learner. And one of the best ways to become a highly effective leader is to understand the importance of the need to continue learning. One of the things that I've learned from my own leadership mentors like John C. Maxwell is that what we do today matters. John told me that I'll never change my life until I change something that I do each day. That the secret to my success and yours will be found in our daily routine. So what do you say that we take a quick look at a few ways that good leaders can make learning a part of their daily routine? A lot of people believe that learning comes from the process of thinking, but that's only a small part of the big picture of learning from experience. See, the trick is that we have to learn how to tap into our feelings, perceptions, and actions. So today, I want to share a simple process that can help us all to do just that, okay? So let's step through this and see how you rate. So let's start with R for reflection. We have to take time to reflect. I've spoken a lot of times about how we learn from our experiences, but only when we take the time to think back on it and find the lessons from it. Reflecting on our experiences helps us to make a connection between our thoughts and our feelings, right? So here, you're going to want to ask yourself whether or not you're considering different perspectives or viewpoints, which is a great tool to helping us identify our own thoughts that form the thoughts of others. Now, the A stands for act. Once we've spent time reflecting, it's getting close to the time that we need to consider a conclusion and take some action to try something that creates our next experience. So here, ask, what action can I take now to test this out? I think the concept of taking action is understated. We emphasize planning so much that we don't focus on the action part. But someone once said that vision without action is merely a dream, but vision with action can change the world. So once we spend time reflecting, we have to move into the action step if we want to make our learning a part of our daily routine. And that brings me to step number 3. And that's just to prompt us to think. Good leaders can actually detach themselves from their own agendas so they can look at things more objectively. I read a quote the other day that said, "Things won't get better unless you think better." That's awesome. Now, in order for us to see things more objectively, we have to be able to apply logic and facts. Yes, the facts. Take a step back, and before you make your assessment, just simply ask yourself, what does the evidence show? And then finally, the E in rate. We need to start to learn how to learn from our experiences. What the heck? Well, what I mean is that we need to tune into our awareness around the things that are happening in the here and now. Once we do, we have to be able to tap into our senses and pay attention to what it is we actually feel. Sounds easy, but it isn't, because people tend to be thinkers, not feelers. One of the things I work on with my coaching clients is shifting them from their head space to their heart space so they can get in touch with the feeling behind what's going on. The same thing goes for us as leaders. We have to get in touch with what we're feeling. We can coach ourselves by just asking things like, am I fully present to what is happening right now? So as leaders, we can raise our self-awareness daily by kind of zooming out to see how we're using this learning process. Are you guided by your gut feelings of experience, or are you logical and maybe even a little detached from using thinking? Well, here's a pulse check you can use to see where you're at. Ask yourself whether or not you tend to go straight into action to get things done before you take time to know that you're even moving in the right direction. Or maybe you reflect so long that you end up missing opportunities. Leadership can be a huge undertaking, and that can be both challenging and fulfilling. But what ultimately makes the call to leading an enriching experience is constantly growing and learning as we work with others. When it comes to leadership, I think it's essential to make learning a part of our daily routine. We have to be intentional to read, listen, and talk to people to increase our own knowledge. When we learn, we open ourselves up to new and different ways to approach the challenges we face. Having the ability to solve problems, to grow ourselves, and to help other people makes learning one of the most important things that we can do as a leader. You know, as Rick Warren said, all leaders are learners. The moment you stop learning, you stop leading. I learn as much as I can from as many as I can, as often as I can. I'd love to see what actions you take to ensure you're continually learning. So go ahead and share your thoughts in the comments so others in the Lion's Den can learn from your experience in this area. All right, friends, that's it for today. Thanks again for joining me today. And until we meet again, remember, be powerful, but stay poised just like a lion. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Weekly Roar live event at lionenterprise.com. If you enjoyed this video, please tell others to join us each week here in the Lion's Den. Thanks again, and see you next week.